Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, some oil marketing companies accuse bulk oil distribution firms of creating artificial fuel shortage to cash in on significant price hike from March 16. We are live with the OMCs and BDCs for a conversation. Also in this bulletin, Cabinet approves fresh round of SIM registration exercise due to concerns over previous process in 2021. We'll hear from the Telecoms Chamber. Plus, former president of the Peasant Farmers Association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, slams government over failure to provide mechanization centers.
NDC came to power. We were all excited. They said on the feed Ghana, there's going to be farmer mechanization centers where we have everything. You have fertilizer, you have everything. As we speak, let's see whether he can point at one mechanization center in any part of the country.
We have details of these and more for you. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka, and looking at our stories, some oil marketing companies are accusing bulk oil distribution firms of creating artificial fuel shortage on the market. This, they say, is meant to help the bulk oil firms benefit from the significant price increase from next Monday. We have more for you in this report.
The bulk oil distribution companies are primarily those firms licensed by the National Petroleum Authority to import petroleum products into the country, store them, as well as sell them directly to the oil marketing companies. Now, according to some of the oil marketing companies that we have engaged, they tell Joy Business that they are struggling to get products from the bulk oil firms. Now, that is not due to non-availability of product, but rather what they describe as artificial shortage of petroleum products on the market. The bulk oil distribution companies are also being accused of increasing prices significantly, even before the March 12th date that is expected to adjust prices in line with the second pricing window for this month. There is also another development that has come up on the market that should get consumers worried. This is because some of the oil marketing companies, as at this moment, have been struggling to load products due to some challenges with the Ghana Revenue Authority systems. However, some bulk oil distribution firms have confirmed that there have been some price reviews, but they have rejected arguments that they are doing this to create some product shortage on the market ahead of that March 16 deadline to review prices by some significant margin in line with current developments on the international market.
All right, so on the back of that developing story we are learning, we want to hear from the players. Joining us via Zoom is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies Association, I should say, Dr. River Singopong. Also on the phone is the Chief Executive Officer of the Bulk Oil Distributing Companies, Dr. Patrick Kwekufori. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time here on Business Live. And I'd like to start off with you, Dr. River Singopong. Now, can you confirm if some of the oil marketing companies indeed have concerns with respect to product supply?
Right. Thank you. Thanks for having me here today. And yes, we've had a series of complaints from members that there has been a series of selective supply or sales by some of the buyers. And so it's not that all of them are doing that. Yes, we are indeed in a pricing window. And ultimately, we don't expect prices within this window against the selling window for next week to be the same. And we've also identified the price hikes effect already affecting the country as far as the SREF sold by the BDCs to the OMCs are concerned. And that's the more reason why those statements were made by the chamber itself and some oil marketing companies, just as the complaints hit our desk. We've engaged Seaboard and some selected BDCs to understand why they are triggering prices on a daily basis. Look, I think this study have made us understood that there is a high discrepancy between how even our pricing window is versus how the SREF or how the BDCs trade with the OMCs. Yes, we believe in the pricing window and the selling window that's set by the MPA on the 2 week basis or by monthly basis. Therefore, we have 1st to 15th and the 16th to the last day of the month, ideally. But everyday price is triggered by most of the BDCs, if not all of them. Whereas some of our members, let's say the top 10 of them, are able to hold on product at a particular price of a day against a particular window or even the next window, you understand? And this is where we feel there are issues.
All right.
Thankfully for us, tomorrow we are having an engagement on pricing with MPA as the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies and members. And we are going to try to address this issue.
These issues. All right, but what I want to find out from you, have your chamber been able to establish the real cause of this? Because in one instance, some of your members are saying it's GRE system, which of course is causing this problem. In another breath, they say the BDCs are the reason for this. Which one should we run with?
No. They're two different issues. So when we talk about preferential sales, is the product available? But I'll choose to sell to this OMC, not you as an OMC. This is a different thing altogether, okay? There were systems issues today, right from the morning, around 7:30. I woke up to this issue. We've engaged MPA extensively with GRA, Customs, and both ICOMs and ERDMS. At a point in time, we agreed to decouple the systems because the two systems need to communicate for a transaction to go through. And in the heat of trying to engage, we saw Star Oil's, I would say, press statement, and also we saw Goyle's press statement later on. But the issue is not with ICON. The issue actually is the ERDMS. You understand? So it's when we try to decouple both of them, then we realized that the issue was not coming from ICONs, but it was a system failure, IT system failure from ERDMS. It was immediately resolved, and as at I think 12:45 thereabout, sales became green and members are able to load.
All right. I would like to hear from Dr. Kweku Ofori as well. Thank you so much, sir, for staying on. And Riverson, please stay on for me. I'll come to you on the price outlook subsequently. But as of now, let me engage Dr. Kweku Ofori as well. Thank you so much, sir, for staying on the telephone lines to speak to us. Now, I'm pretty sure you've heard the narrative about the fact that some of your members are deliberately kind of creating artificial shortage in the system. How do you respond to these challenging concerns? All right, so we shall connect to Dr. Kweku Ofori subsequently as well. I'm told is off the line. As and when he comes on, we shall bring him on to speak to us. But Dr. Riverson Opong, as we have you now, I want you to tell us about the pricing outlook with respect to the current price hikes we are seeing, and bear in mind the current price level as we have it selling $100 a barrel.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is the highest jump. I mean, this is the highest weekly jump for the past 6 years on Brent. I mean, go and search it out. That for a week. We jumped from 65, 70 to 100, and even still counting. It's been projected that if by Wednesday things are not calmed down, even though America really wants to calm down now, that's as to whether Iran wants it, nobody can tell. We are going to hit around 110 to 120. And that would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous for countries not only like Africa, but even Asia and South Asia. And I'm talking about even Australia. Today, UK has recorded one of the highest pump price ever, even in history. So let's not assume that we are the only people being affected. It's a global issue. Let's not politicize it. Let's face facts. Not Ghana. Ghana did not play any role in this particular, fight or war. And we are here as a net importer of energy, and therefore we must suffer the consequence. Okay. If we pick the triggering price that we are seeing from the BDCs or from the BDCs today to the oil marketing companies, just looking at that factor alone in the SREF, we should hit above 15 cities, between 15 to 17 cities. Depending on where you buy your fuel from, or depending on where any OMC bought or triggered its fuel price from, because we are sourcing from different places, and it could be different. Okay, and this is based on what we know today. By Thursday, we will come back and give you how the outlook from the 16th will be like.
That's fine. Thank you so much, Dr. Rive Sigopong, for speaking to us here on Business Live. And of course, we shall come to you subsequently on Thursday for more on that. Grateful having you. Rather unfortunate, we couldn't make time to speak to Dr. Kweku Fori, the Chief Executive Officer of the bulk oil distribution companies, for their take on this subject matter. We shall move on. Now, Cabinet has given its approval to a fresh round of SIM registration exercise due to concerns over the previous process. Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation Minister Sam George disclosed this in a recent meeting with telecom operators here in Accra. Details of this report.
According to the minister, the action by Cabinet was influenced by what he describes as weak biometric enforcement, data inconsistency, and registration fraud. Sam George also revealed that under the new framework, the National Communications Authority would act as a central repository of the SIM registration data, arguing that data verification would be mandatory. The minister also disclosed that a revised legislation is being prepared and should be laid before Parliament soon, which seeks to regulate and back the exercise. The telecoms operators in the meeting welcomed the initiative, but raised some operational concerns. It is, however, not clear for now when the exercise will commence and who will take care of the cost. Would it be the subscriber or the telecom operator?
All right, let's expand the conversation further. Joining us via Zoom is the Chief Executive of the Telecoms Chamber, Sylvia Wusu-Ankoma. Thank you so much, Madam, for making time to join us here on Business Live. Your thoughts about government's plan to embark on another round of SIM card registration?
Thanks, Bios. Good evening to you and your listeners and viewers as well. Your report rightly captured the directive as we've received it from the ministry. The minister has indicated that Ghana will be undertaking the SIM registration exercise again. And as members of the Telecoms Chamber, we are quite prepped. Digital identity is something that is central to our membership. It's something that we ensure at every given time. We want to maintain a robust database of our subscribers. What is going to be different, I believe, is the fact that we missed having a biometric registration comprehensively done in the previous regime of SIM registration, whereby people's numbers, your subscriber number was essentially mapped to your national ID without necessarily going through a rigorous biometric verification. So this new registration exercise, as been called by the minister, is seeking to address that.
But again, how prepared are the telecom operators for this exercise?
As SIM registration is a constant, is an ongoing journey for mobile network operators, to the extent that every new SIM that is purchased in country, we have regulations in Ghana that requires us to register. So it is not new in terms of onboarding people and registering their SIM. What we believe the ministry is seeking to do is to ensure that the over 42 million SIM registration that we have, SIM cards that we have in the system are properly mapped to our national ID database. And to the report that you've just issued, the minister also has given the NCA the mandate to ensure that this database or the repository is sitting with the NCA. I must point out, though, that this is quite elementary. It's a preliminary conversation because we do not have the LI that supports the new framework. This is something that needs to be done ahead of any new exercise. So we believe that the minister, together with the NCA, will work assiduously to get the LI reviewed with industry. The chamber has given its comments and positions to the LI in terms of the things we want to see changed to support this new registration robustly. Until that parliamentary process has taken place and the LI adopted, it may be premature to go ahead with the exercise or define the timelines. But right. We believe that from the direction that the ministry is giving, we want to be at the table to essentially influence the conversation positively and in a way that it doesn't become, chaotic for our subscribers. We want to ensure that as painfully as possible, subscribers will be, directed to re-register in a way that we will use technology in a way that will be, less chaotic as we've experienced in the past.
That's fine. A quick one on this. I want to find out this from you. Who will take the cost? Is it the operator or the subscriber?
As I believe it's early days. We haven't counted the cost of what the implementation is going to take. The NCA is to kickstart engagements with mobile network operators for us to assess the new, implementation plan and whatever systems would support this new exercise. So it's early days in terms of counting the cost. But to your question, there is no doubt always, as we know, SIM registration can be, it will always come with some cost, and we hope that in the course of the implementation process we will define this and have clarity how that will be supported. But just to say that the NCA and the ministry have engaged and have been quite transparent. They have taken on board the concerns we have, which is to ensure that we have the right legal framework that supports us having another SIM registration exercise. And most importantly, that the learnings from the past SIM registration exercises will be taken on board in a way to mitigate the cues that we had our customers experiencing in earlier SIM registration exercises.
Sylvia Owusu-Ankoma, thank you so much for your time here on Business Live. I'm glad you could make time to speak to us. Now, former Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Charles Nyaba, has criticized government over what he describes as its failure to establish farm mechanization centers as promised. Speaking earlier on the Joy News channel, Dr. Nyaba said the lack of these centers continue to hinder agricultural productivity, particularly among smallholder farmers who depend on access to modern farming equipment.
Apart from that, government again announced when we engaged the ministry about lack of market for maize, lack of market for rice. Through the Ministry of Finance, it was announced later part of last year that government released 200 million to National Food Buffer Stock to come and mop this produce from us. As we speak, I'm with the farmers every day. We keep engaging National Food Buffer Stock to publish the list of the people they engage to mobilize this produce. They are failing to do that. And there is no evidence from any farmer that National Food.
You're still watching Business Live. Let's pause for a breather. I'll be right back. Hello again, welcome back to Business Live. Stakeholders in the tourism sector have been encouraged to strengthen collaboration and knowledge sharing across Africa to enhance continent's tourism potential. This was emphasized at the West Africa Customer Engagement event organized by South African Tourism in collaboration with Marriott International. Details in this report.
The South African Tourism Engagement brought together industry partners for discussions, destination insights and networking opportunities aimed at strengthening tourism ties between Ghana and South Africa. Sales manager for the National Conventions Bureau at South Africa Tourism, Sakil Ndlovu, noted that while travel promotes tourism, it should also serve as a platform for knowledge sharing among African countries.
When you look at our priority sectors and you look at the key economic sectors in Ghana, they are all the same, and the knowledge economy, the expertise that Ghana has and South Africa, when they come together, we develop the African knowledge with creating the thought leaders. Both countries, when they come together to have a conference or to engage for business purposes, they share knowledge, and Africa is positioned as a thought leader in those sectors. So it's not about visiting South Africa, coming to Ghana, but also the knowledge exchange of two nations. It broadens the knowledge economy for the African continent.
Chief Executive of African Paletas, Harold Ewadako, urged Ghana to learn from South Africa's tourism model in order to improve its own sector.
What are we doing practically to attract the South African to come here, which is visa-free, and come and spend his rand here in our country? So the opportunity exists. The question is, how do we take advantage of it? There's a lot of that the Ghanaian culture offers, that if we package it right, we can attract South African tourists to come here.
And that's all for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. See you at 8 p.m.